Okay, I made my service delivery almost zero maintenance and borderline free to provide, which helped me price out all my competitors, scale to consistent 70K months without doing any of the service delivery myself. A big part of this was switching over to YouTube ads, but this doesn't mean you need to drop everything and switch to YouTube ads. I just think YouTube ads are worth considering, and a lot of people aren't sure if they should make the switch. I've been getting a lot of questions, so I wanted to compare them in as unbiased of a way as possible for you guys, because I get this question a lot, and I do run both Facebook and YouTube ads for my clients. So the first thing I want to touch on is setup. So YouTube ads, there's a really easy way to look at both of these. YouTube ads are hard to start and easy to scale and maintain. Facebook ads are easy to start, but hard to scale and maintain. So what that really means is there's just a lot more complexity involved. There's a lot more maintenance involved, and you need to have a certain level of grit, right? And I'm going to get into all of these things throughout this video, but I just wanted to make that really quick first point that YouTube ads are hard to start and easy to scale, and Facebook ads are easy to start and hard to scale. You may have experienced this. You turn on Facebook ads, they're getting leads right away for the first 3-4 days, and then maybe they start fatiguing, or maybe a campaign or an ad's doing really well for a number of weeks or a couple months, and then they start to fatigue, right? So this is what I mean with YouTube ads. It's hard to get them locked in, but then once they're locked in, moving into number two, the maintenance for YouTube ads is so much lower. Now, when we're talking about maintenance, YouTube ads, again, there's so much lower maintenance, and it's because the fatigue timeline is a lot different from Facebook ads. So as I mentioned before, with Facebook ads, you might have your ads kick really well if you're writing them from scratch for, sometimes they only kick for a few days, sometimes they kick for a few weeks, sometimes they never hit, and sometimes they kick for a few months before things slow down. If you're running cookie cutter ads, generally speaking, those will last a lot longer on Facebook, but that's when you're generally speaking going to be sacrificing lead quality, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But with YouTube ads, with Facebook ads, one of your best performing ads on a longer timeline is really only going to last somewhere between 6 to 12 months. Banger ads. Whereas on YouTube ads, you can have an okay ad that's doing well, it's getting consistent leads, it's nothing too crazy, but it can last the same amount of time. But the quality of the ad, the caliber of the ad, does not need to be nearly as high. You don't need to be nearly as skilled to write an ad that lasts a long period of time with YouTube ads. With YouTube ads, the longer performing ads are anywhere in the range of 2 to 3 years sometimes, right? On the higher end. This obviously depends on market sizes and so on and so forth, but from a maintenance standpoint, YouTube ads are significantly lower maintenance, and that was one of the big things that pushed me to start using YouTube ads. Now, there's another thing I'll talk about at the end here, which is also going to be sales, and we can get into it here in a second. I'm just going to write a note for myself, but the next thing I want to talk about is complexity. So, and complexity, I think in the other part of it would be difficulty and skill ceiling. So YouTube ads in general, it's harder to generate leads when you don't know what you're doing, because as a whole, in my opinion, video ads are just more difficult to generate leads with than picture ads are. You've probably experienced this yourself. You need to be a much better copywriter. With Facebook, let's say Facebook picture ads, for example, you only really need to focus on the first little bit of ad copy before the see more button, right? Above the creative. Where when you're using videos, it's just a lot more, it goes a lot deeper, right? People will impulse click, generally speaking, on a picture ad just based on the picture and based on that first part of the ad copy. But with a video ad, people are going to listen to the video more than they're going to impulse click from the picture, and that can actually lead to reduced conversions. One of the nice things about doing video ads, though, is lead quality goes up. We can talk about lead quality in a little bit, but since YouTube ads are video ads, what ends up happening is it's just a lot more difficult to generate leads. And could you get creative, and could you basically use the same image that you're using on a Facebook ad and the same little before see more button ad copy above the image and run a YouTube ad as a still image? Could you test that? Yes. Do I know that it works? No. But then are you sacrificing lead quality, so on and so forth? So just something to think about. But generally speaking, with video ads, it's harder to generate leads and get lower costs and so on and so forth. Speaking of costs, the fourth thing here is ad costs, right? How do CPMs compare? How does your cost per lead compare, cost per acquisition, so on and so forth? This is a pretty interesting thing. A lot of people wonder, they have this question between platforms, but they're the same. Pretty much every platform is the same. What matters more is like what market you're selling to. If we're comparing apples to apples, we're running real estate ads on Facebook and we're running real estate ads on YouTube, CPMs at least are going to be the same. Where things differ, again, is where we're not comparing apples to apples and we're comparing apples to oranges. So for example, if you compare on Facebook lead form lead costs with picture ads to landing page leads on YouTube with video ads, you're definitely going to find the landing page video ad leads are going to be more expensive. Whereas on Facebook with, again, the quick tap, 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 they're in Facebook lead form, they don't have to type anything. Those are always going to be much easier to generate leads. And to use a less extreme example, if you used a Facebook picture ad through to a Facebook lead form, and you compared that against a Facebook picture ad to a landing page, then the landing page is still going to be more expensive. So you'll want to pay more attention to these things than you want to pay attention to, again, how do the CPMs differ between these two platforms? Now, the next thing that I wanted to talk about was grit. And grit is really important if you're thinking about running YouTube ads because it can be what really kills you. YouTube ads are much more nerve-wracking to run, especially in the first month. Very anxiety-inducing if you don't know what to expect, especially when you're new, because they can take longer to kick in. It's hard to know, how well is this going to do? How well is this going to perform when the machine learning takes anywhere from, 2 to 6 weeks to really kick in and lock in perfectly. So from a grit standpoint, starting out, YouTube ads you need more grit to run YouTube ads. A lot of the guys I'm working with right now who are just starting out with YouTube ads, they're like, man, it's pretty stressful. And I can definitely relate. So when I was first running YouTube ads, I've talked about it on this channel before, it was definitely, there was a lot of uncertainty, we can just say that. But that's one thing I wanted to touch on there. And then in terms of lead quality, that's the next thing, number 6. Both of these platforms, you can generate high quality leads on. From my experience, YouTube ads are more reliable, and also landing pages give higher lead quality. And with YouTube ads, there aren't any autofill lead forms at the time of me recording this. So, it's worth mentioning that, if you're trying to optimize for lead quality, YouTube ads are a pretty good option in large part for that reason, but also with video ads. And especially in these niche cases where you're putting your client on video, that's where lead quality can really go up, especially if your client is the one calling their leads. I don't do that for all my clients. I've talked about creatives in another YouTube ad video, but from a lead quality standpoint, again, you can do really well with both. I just find the Facebook algorithm tends to slip a lot. And by slip, I mean maybe it's getting, I've had a client where he's converting over 5% of his leads, closing the deals with them, and then out of nowhere, like boom, instead of a bunch of home buyers and sellers coming in, it's just optimizing for 70% renters. That was my experience on Facebook. I haven't had a similar experience on YouTube yet. I'm sure it's possible, so I don't want to speak too soon on that. But so far, my personal experience, because I've spent like 140, 150K out of my own pocket on my own YouTube ads for an extended period of time, and I never found that to be the case. It never completely slipped and went crazy on its own. I had done some things like retargeted people from this channel and cause the AI to slip a little bit in that regard. But that was on me. It wasn't on the platform randomly just slipping for no reason within the right marketplace, right? But that was just a little learning experience of mine. Well, also, actually, to be fair, in large part, a lot of people were coming to my channel before I even ran SMMA videos. I was doing videos for realtors, but a lot of agency guys came through, and that kind of started pushing it a bit too. But the other thing I want to talk about in comparing these two is sales. I found YouTube ads are a lot easier to sell. A lot of people in certain markets are just like cold to Facebook ads, and as soon as you say Facebook ads, they're kind of turned off. So selling YouTube ads has been a much easier experience for me. So I recommend it for that reason, because it's a new thing, it's different, and it's cool, right? Like people want to, oh, I've never tried that, right? There's a lot of that you get where a lot of people have tried, especially in saturated markets, like in real estate, for example. A lot of people have run Facebook ads and they've tried it 3-4 times in a lot of cases, and they're looking for something new to try. So that's why I like that. That was a big part of what made me switch over, as well as the maintenance, because you can make your maintenance extremely low cost without even having to have your clients on video, which is what I'd done. Now, I do have a private scaling group for agency owners. If you are interested in that, I really don't care. You can go book a call in the description, totally up to you. Otherwise, there's a ton of free value on this channel. Go click on my channel, watch whatever's there, or you can just click whatever's popping up on screen here, and I'll see you there.